is Lee and Karabo Pasha, who was with us between the hours of 3 and 6 o'clock. Thank you so much to the Drive team. That is the K Drive. You will be with them again tomorrow between 3 and 6 o'clock. Tonight, it's another beautiful evening right here in Johannesburg, South Africa, and we are glad to be in your midst, in your presence, as you're driving from your respectable workplaces or driving towards it. We want to welcome you to Kofifi FM 97.2. This is what we call the TP as the paradigm shift between 6 and 7 o'clock every Tuesdays and Thursdays. The name, again, is Elias Luba King, and I will be with you up until that hour of 7 o'clock. I'm always rolling with the big dog, Dr. Richie himself, but he is excused himself for tonight, and he's brought a beautiful, beautiful young lady with me that is going to travel for this hour with me, talking everything that pertains progress and just pushing through life and getting whatever it is that you want. I want to make her introduce herself to us tonight and who she is, where does she hail from. Over to you, my sister. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. Thanks, Elias. How are you doing?
I am well. I was a bit tired this afternoon, but there's something that just re-energizes me when it comes to this hour, because I know it is very, very much important when it comes to the people who are listening, that you do not feed them junk.
Exactly.
But you feed them words of wisdom, words of encouragement, and words that would edify them to become stronger and greater. So who are you? Tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Tinzwalo Christian Nkuna, and I like to be introduced with both my names.
Okay.
In that order.
Okay.
I know it confuses a lot of people because
Yes.
Tinzwalo Christian, that combination is more of a guy's name where I come from.
Yes, yeah.
But I would like to assure everyone that I am a lady. I'm a purpose-driven young woman who grew up in the villages of Limpopo.
Nice.
I'm a ninth sibling of 10, and I'm a transformational speaker. I'm a student of life. I'm a single mother of one, and I'm also a founder of an organization called Wise Maidens Network, which is a women empowerment organization. And I'm just a simple, fun-loving girl with a sense of humor who happens to serve a great God. And I'm very happy to be here.
All right. We are glad to have you here. We are so privileged that Dr. Richie made a recommendation of you. He has been speaking, that he's going to bring some of his students, some of his mentees to come to the studio, and we are so grateful that you are here. Tonight we want to break it open in terms of what we'll be talking about. Progress is an inevitable process of each and every organism in life. There's nothing that stands stagnant in terms of progress in life. Even if it's a small little bug, it gets born, and in its growth stages, it will grow little by little. It will grow little by little. It will grow to the point where it is fully grown in doing whatever it is that it has to do.
Yes.
We are driven by purpose, and I liked how you opened your statement that you are a purpose-driven person. We are driven by purpose as creatures, as beings, as humans here on earth.
Yes.
And that is where everything stems from.
Yes.
Nothing is born out of a lack of purpose. The mic that we're speaking through, it has a purpose. The camera that you are viewing me from, it has a purpose. Each and everything has purpose. Now, when we look at progressive thinkers, progressiveness in life, I just want you to start off in terms of the angle of progress in each and everyone's life. How imperative it is for one not to stand still in their approach to life.
I think it's very important. David Mulapo once said, let me say Dr. David Mulapo, he said, if you are not growing, you are dying. Because I believe that as we fulfill or pursue our purpose, we do so in the different stages of life. So what you needed when you were 5 is not what you need now. So the way you would behave or act at the age of 5 has to change. It has to be different at the age that you are now. So at some point in your life, you have to be progressing. I think someone once said that growing up is it is a must that your age or the number of your years should increase. But when we look at progress, we look at the person that you were yesterday, not in terms of the number of your years or
All
your
right.
days. In your mind, how are you progressing?
Yes.
Because you gotta go somewhere. It's not that you are born and you do something and that's it. Life is a continuous process.
Yes.
Or progress. It's continuous. You are continuously developing yourself. You are continuously growing. And as you grow, the environment around you seems to change, or things around you seem to change,
Yeah.
and you need to keep up. Yes.
Very much important. Very much important. Here's a little saying here that says, when life throws you a rainy day, play in the puddles. Many of us would assume and just, go with the negative side of life. And it is a projection of how we think. It is a projection of what we have inside, because whatever it is that we take out is what we have had inside.
Yes.
Nothing comes from outside in. It comes from inside out.
Yes.
Whatever it is that you will build inside of yourself is what you will reflect towards the world.
Exactly.
And many a times, we neglect ourselves in terms of pursuing and growing in that state. In terms of reading, and Dr. Richie made mention of it, reading, studying, listening to audio tapes, and just building yourself towards the person that you'd like to become.
Yes.
How important then is vision? What role does vision play in guidance towards someone's progress?
I think vision is more like your direction.
All right.
If you have direction, you can resist distraction. If you leave your house, you are going to a certain place.
Yeah.
It keeps you focused. You know how much time you need to go there. You need what form of you then know what form of transport you need to get there.
Yes.
You know what you need to take with you, or who you need to take with you on this journey. So if one does not have a vision, the greatest book ever written, it says that a nation without vision, it perishes.
Yes.
So if you don't have vision, you basically do not have direction, and you basically might just sit still and do nothing, because you are not going anywhere. Your vision is what wakes you up in the morning, because you have seen it in your mind that this is what I want to be, or this is what I need to achieve. And I believe it's very important for every person to have that vision, be it in your relationships, in your finances, in your career, and everything. I believe as you sit there, this is not where you would like to end up.
Sure.
You have a vision of where else you want to go.
True.
So if you have that vision, it then tells you, this is what I need to do. And you mentioned also reading and listening to audio tapes.
Yes.
The more you read and the more you listen to those motivational tapes and all that, that's the more you realize that you don't know a lot of things. And you cannot get to where you are going with the information that you have now and think when you get there you will make it, you will be just fine. So there's just no relaxing when it comes to personal growth. There's no, I think it's a journey. It's not a destination where you can say, I have arrived. Yes.
And with that vision in mind, you most certainly, you are pushed to always grow.
Yes.
Because you foresee the end goal, and towards that end goal, you want to work towards that.
Yes.
And I've never met anyone that has reached their vision in one day.
Exactly.
You can never do it in one day.
It's not possible.
Sometimes it takes a whole life for one to ascertain whatever it is that you are going to pursue. Before you get into the notes that you have set for us there, I know there's many young ladies listening, and I wanted to touch on this later on in the show. But there's many young ladies out there that they perceive themselves only under the umbrella of their husbands. It's something that it stems out of culture, and we understand the relevance of it. But nowadays it's different. The approach to life is different. We get independent women. We get, there is feminism that is happening. And if you were to speak to a woman who still sees themselves as a kitchen girl, you come from a rural background, back in Limpopo.
Yes.
There is odds stacked against you.
Yes.
Disadvantages that you could count. you could tell yourself that, you know what, based on my circumstances and based on my life right now, as I'm growing as a young girl, maybe I am just to become, a kitchen lady. Maybe I'm just to become an average person. But you pushed yourself to start a foundation. You pushed yourself to the point where you are today. And to that young lady that might be listening tonight, what would you say to them?
I would say there is more to life. And if you are not exposed, if your life just revolves around that village or that area where you grew up with the mentality that a woman's place is in the kitchen and under her husband and all that. Unfortunately, you don't get to know these things. That's why I always push that as a woman, you need to always be willing to learn, always keep an open mind. And I promise if you keep an open mind, your brains are not going to fall out. So you just need to surround yourself with the right people. And I think it's very important for each and every person to want to know why they were born.
Yes.
And I think sometimes perhaps the environment that raises us, because our parents were not exposed to what we know now.
Yes.
They still have the mentality that this is how things should be done, or this is how a woman should be seen, this is what a woman should do. But there is more. I think Jesus Christ himself, he started one of the greatest movements for women empowerment. He took women with him everywhere he went. The men were complaining and all that. And I think we should also be careful as women that as we empower ourselves, we do not get caught up in a competition of now wanting to be a man or wanting to prove that I can do what a man does.
Yes.
Because there is nothing that a man does that a woman can do better. A woman is best as being a woman. Yes. And a lot of people might define being a woman differently, but there are those women that are strong. There are women that are running companies. They are doing things for themselves. And I think if anyone can do it and get to the top, all of us can do that. We just need to reach out to those that are still in the villages, those that are still in those places where we come from and they have not yet been exposed to what we now know. Yes.
It is 20 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. It is the TPS. The name is Elias Lubakeng, taking you to the hour of 7 o'clock. We're talking everything progress in life. Progress. Do not be stagnant. Do not stagger, at the promise, but move on in terms of, achieving and ascertaining your goals, whatever it is. You have prepared some notes for us, and we are going to open our ears, open our minds, and hope it doesn't fall out.
I promise you it will not.
And share with us what you have for us tonight.
All right. I just basically, as you said in your introduction, that we are talking progress and getting the most out of life. I personally believe that it will be very difficult for you to progress in the right direction if you do not know who you are.
All right.
Because if you just plant a seed and you don't know what this seed is, whether it's an orange or a peach or whatever, it's going to be very hard for you to know how to feed it. It's going to be very difficult for you to know what type of soil to plant it and what kind of things to feed it. So I believe for every person, it's very important to know who you are. You need to know what your values are.
Yes.
Those things that you are not willing to compromise on. I think those are the things that make you as a person unique.
All right.
You need to know your purpose, discover your purpose. And I really hope and wish that most of the young girls in the rural areas or wherever, they get to be hungry, have that desire to know their purpose at a very early age, because it's kind of a bit difficult if you want to discover your purpose at the age of, say, 40.
Yeah.
Because now you realize, because this is my purpose, I have to change certain things and all of those things. So you need to know your weaknesses. What is it that makes you strong?
Yes.
What is it that makes you weak? Or what is it that drives you? We spoke about a vision earlier.
Yes.
To say, if you have it in your mind, every morning when you wake up, you think, that's where I want to go. And then it sort of guides everything that you do. And I know sometimes we tend to look at it as just a simple thing. Know who you are, know your values and all those things. But it needs someone to sit down, spend that quality time with yourself,
All right.
and get to know yourself. Because you have no business in this world getting to know someone better if you haven't figured yourself out. Yes.
I think you can repeat that.
You have no business in this world getting to know somebody else if you haven't figured yourself out.
Wow. It's a powerful statement. It's powerful because many a times we are good at studying other people.
Very good.
We are good at pointing out the wrongs in other people's lives. We are good at saying, oh my goodness, he can achieve this.
Yes.
He's so great. He's so wonderful. Have you ever said that to yourself? Have you ever looked inside of yourself and find the strength, found the power, found the beauty that is in you as well? And many a times we don't do that because we doubt ourselves.
Exactly.
We feel like we are not enough as the next person. But like we opened the statement, each and every organism that is born into this world has purpose.
Exactly.
And if you can just find that, you can be as great as self can ever be.
That's true. And you also need to have direction. I think we spoke already about this, direction and vision. And we tend to get distracted along the way if you do not know exactly where you are going. For example, you might leave, perhaps say you are in Midrand and you are waiting for a Gau train. You know you want to go to Joburg. Even if the one going to Pretoria comes, you will not get in it because that's not where you are going. But often I think we find ourselves, one would take the one going to Pretoria, and then from Pretoria, then they go to Joburg. So if you take one going in the opposite direction, by the time you come back to your destination, you've lost money, you've lost energy, and you've lost time. So you need to have a clear direction and vision as to where are you going. I like your question when you asked about ladies. So to all the ladies out there, if the brother has not yet figured out where he's going, please don't follow him because you are going to get lost. Because you are going to get lost. And I do agree that a man is the head of the house and they have that leadership role to play. So if you find one that is not yet sure where he wants to go, why he wants to go there, then it's going to be a very difficult ride for you. If you don't have direction or a vision, anything will do. Anybody will do. So I think it's important.
But you see the thing now, Sister Nkuna, is that we are driven by our emotions sometimes. And many a times we fall in love before we even ask the question, where you're going to. And it's a statement that my pastor always made. He says, never ask a man if he loves you. Always ask him where is he going to.
Exactly.
Because with that, then you can foresee what kind of life you will live with him.
Yes.
But many a times we are pushed, and very much as young people, that we are pushed into emotional, we are driven much more in emotions than thoughts, than thinking, than projecting what will happen in the future. Because we are instant. We want now gratification. And if the love can, sort me out now, we will sort out the future later on. But you get sometimes, and it's such a true statement that you make, that many a times we don't realize, even us as gentlemen, as men, that we create our woman. Not that we are forceful on it, but because we have been deemed as the head, we sometimes deter them and take them off course, because we also do not have a direction as to where we are going. And now you are frustrated in life, and now there's divorce, and now there's a whole lot of things happening. But only if you sat down and realized in your life, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to translate to my woman, that this is what we are going to do together.
Very important.
A woman is always frustrated where there's no direction.
Exactly. There's nothing more frustrating than as a helper trying to figure out, what do I help this guy with? Where do I go with him? Someone once said, a man who has not yet discovered who he is will destroy every woman he brings into his life. Because by the time you discover who you are and where you want to go, you find that I'm not exactly the woman for you, and there are kids already in the picture.
Yeah.
What happens then? Divorce. And then you are seen as the player.
Yeah.
And sometimes we blame the guys, but they just don't know any better at times. So we can't always blame you guys. But anyway.
28 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. Those are not my words. It's her words. It's her words. She said it. 0714259577. That is the SMS and WhatsApp line. Over to you again, my sister.
All right. Moving right along, you need to continuously check your environment.
Okay.
You gotta check, where are you? Are you happy with where you are? Are you satisfied? And I believe if you can find a place in this life where you are just satisfied, you don't want, or you don't have any longing for anything new or any growth or any change or any development, then unfortunately you are not growing. So you need to be conscious of the people that are around you.
Yeah.
The environment that you are in. What is it feeding you? Is it feeding you in line with the direction you have, or with the vision, or with the person that you think you are? Because sometimes we compromise our vision or our purpose for the sake of the environment.
Yeah.
I once had this guy who was very unhappy with his friend. They used to go drinking together, and the friend was not working at the time.
Yes.
So by the time the friend got a job, the guy says, yes, now I can relax, because he used to buy for the guy.
Okay.
And then the guy says, you know what, I got a job and I'm born again.
So he stopped drinking.
So he stops drinking. And now the friend has made so much. He has invested in this guy's entertainment. And now he's discovered who he is. He doesn't drink anymore. So those are the things that happen. By the time you discover who you are, you realize that there are certain environments that you need to get out of.
Yes.
There are certain people that you need to let go. Yes.
This is where I come in. It's important, yes. Environment is very much important in terms of where we are, because the influences of it is very subtle.
Yes. Sometimes
without even noticing. I make an analogy of the test that was made by scientists. They took a frog, two frogs. It's the same frog.
Okay.
They took the one frog, and there was a pot of boiling water. So they took the frog and plunged it into the boiling water. The frog immediately jumped out because the water was hot. They did the experiment again by taking the frog and placing it into cold water. But what they did this time is they increased the heat of the stove little by little.
Yes.
Little by little. What happened then to the frog, it acclimatized itself to its environment.
Yes.
So even when the water was so hot, it did not jump out, because it has already become acclimatized to its environment, to the point that it died. So it is with many of us. Because we think that it's still cool to hang out with negative friends, we'll just stay there, because they've been our friends since we were growing up. But you don't realize sometimes you reach a point where you exceed, the level of thinking within your friendship. And sometimes we want to stick it out because we want to be loyal.
Yes.
Because we want to be, besties, best buddies forever. Sometimes we just want to stick there and hang on to something that has died already.
Yes.
And sometimes we need to find the wisdom and the understanding that when something has got to a point of completion, you have to progress.
Exactly.
You have to move on, because you'll stay there and that environment will kill you.
Exactly.
It'll kill your dreams. It'll kill your vision. It'll kill your progress, because you're staying there out of pity for someone who is not willing to go anywhere in their life.
Exactly. And I like what you said when you said it's very subtle. You don't really see that.
Yes.
This perhaps is dangerous to my vision, or it's not working out for me, because you don't want to be seen as uncool. You don't want to be seen as the odd one out. I mean, you grew up with these people, and all of a sudden, what are they going to say? You progress, and you come back to them, try to tell them, guys, let's try working this business thing out, and this and that, and they think, oh, he thinks he's better than us now. So it's very, the environment is what shapes your perception on life. If you hang around negative people, we won't blame you if you are negative about everything in life. So basically, who you are or how you present yourself tells us a lot about the environment that you grow up in, or the environment that you surround yourself with. Yes. So I'll just continue. And you need to continuously grow. I need to say this again. You need to continuously grow. Growing does not happen by chance. It's intentional. Yes, you need to be very intentional. Develop yourself mentally. Read, go out, travel, meet new people. Let not your language be the only language that you know. Hang out with people who earn more than you do. People who are in a different kind of business. People who speak a different language. The more you do that, you discover that you don't know much. You don't know much, and it's only when you start doing that it exposes you to all the opportunities that are out there. Back in the villages when we grew up, there would be this guy who would go to the city and work there. He would come back, and when he comes back, we all sit around him and we think he has made it in life. And he would tell us about the traffic lights in Johannesburg, the one-way streets, and all those things, the tall buildings, and it would be fun. You would think, wow.
Yes.
And then you come to Johannesburg, you come to the city, somebody tells you about Dubai.
Oh.
And then you realize that, it doesn't, it doesn't end here. So we all need to continuously grow, because where you are going, you will not need your age or your mental capacity or whatever it is that you have within now. You will need something different.
Yes.
So there is a different requirement of you with all the stages of life that you go through.
Sister Nguna, let's talk a little bit about exposure. Because I think that is also one of the downfall of many a people that stays in the same environment, is that your mind has not yet been stimulated to see other things. Your mind has not yet been stimulated to think higher than your surroundings, your current surroundings. The stories that the gentleman told you guys sparked something into your heart and into your mind. Because out of that, there was an urge to see those robots. There was an urge to see the tall buildings, the one-way streets. And so it is with many people. If exposure does not become, part and parcel of your progress in life, then you are hampered by what you got. And whatever it is that you stay in for a long time becomes then your reality. And your reality becomes your life.
Exactly.
But if the reality of that picture is changed in your mind by creating different exposure, then you can grow. Your desire then becomes broader and bigger. So it is, it's a simple thing. I used to take, let me tell the story how I got to university. Dad did not have money. My parents did not have money to take me to university, but I had a desire. I had a desire that I should, among the family, we have 4 kids at home. I should be the first one to go to university. I have 3 beautiful sisters, and I'm the only boy. So I had this desire in my heart that, I need to go to university. I need to be there. I need to do something, stretch myself much more than, it has been in my family. So I went to university in 2007. I was still in matric. So I went to university at UJ, at the University of Johannesburg, and I walked around the campus in my school uniform. I walked around the campus. I sat at the canteen where they feed, where they do food. I went to the lecture halls, just sat around there, walked around, went into the library. And I did not know it. But years later, I found out that I had created a picture in my mind that had come a reality in my life. And the same thing it is with whatever it is that you want to achieve in life. If you want to buy a car, if you want to buy a house, if you want to do anything, go to the car dealership, sit in the car, close the door. Think of yourself owning that car. You're creating a mental picture inside of you that would propel you to work towards that dream. Go walk around in the house that you want to own one day. Go walk around in the university that you would like to study. Look at the pictures and the places that you would like to travel to. That is exposure that takes you. There's nothing that can trap the mind of a human being. You can live in Dubai, like you just said.
Yes.
At this present moment, we are sitting in a studio, but your mind can travel to Dubai.
Exactly.
And it does not need an airline ticket. You can take it there. You can look at pictures. You can stimulate yourself through simple things.
Yes.
And, negativity is projected when we have allowed ourselves to stay in the same position and only see the reality of that position.
Exactly.
So you need to stimulate yourself, and it plays a very pivotal role. The mere fact of exposure plays a very, very pivotal role. Whatever it is that you do not see, you will not gravitate towards.
Exactly. And older people where I grew up, they would always tell the guys, I don't know why it was only meant for the guys, but they would say, if you do not travel, you would end up marrying your own sisters because you do not know other women. So, and someone came up with the idea of having a vision board. So if you can have those pictures, you cut them out from magazines, and you keep them there. The thing with vision is that it makes you look a bit crazy, just like faith.
Yes.
So you need to be crazy enough to say, this is where I see myself. And by the time you get there, you know that this is where I've been working towards getting to. So it doesn't happen by chance. You don't just wake up and you stumble across something you've dreamt about.
Yes.
You work towards it.
I liked what Jim Rohn said. He said he had a mentor. I forgot his name. And one day, as they were sitting, around the table and just having their daily routine check, and what have you done today? His mentor said to him, Jim Rohn, wouldn't you like to become a millionaire one day? And he says, really? Who would not want to become a millionaire? Why is this guy asking me this? He says, you're not getting the point. I'm not asking you to become a millionaire for the sake of the money. I'm asking you to become a millionaire for what it will make of you.
Yes.
Because in the pursuit of becoming a millionaire, there's a character that is formed.
Yes.
And that character is different from someone who wins lottery and is a millionaire instantly.
Exactly.
Than the one who works towards becoming a millionaire and is a millionaire in their mind, than the one who's a millionaire in the bank account. For the one in the bank account, you can lose it tomorrow and not know how to regain it.
Yes.
But the one who has developed the character is the one then that can lose it and come back again. Lose it and come back again, and be able to sustain it, because there's a character that has been formed. And that is the essence of working towards something.
Yes.
The progressive nature of us as human beings. When you are working towards something, you develop a character that stimulates you to always be driven towards that thing.
Yes. That's true. I agree, because as we were talking earlier, that what you need now, or the knowledge that you have now, will not be enough to sustain you in your next stage or phase of life.
Yeah.
So which means if I've got 1,000 rand in my account now, and all of a sudden I've got 10 million, and I have not developed myself, I have not studied, I have not learned anything about millions,
Yes.
then it's going to end up destroying me. Yes.
And it's the same example that we see with many people that win lottery.
Yes.
Instant millionaire, and then they want to blow the money, and the money ends up destroying them. They buy things that they don't need. They buy things that ends up, just destroying a whole lot of things in their lives, because the character does not build or does not back whatever it is that you have attained.
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind winning lottery. Trust me, I wouldn't mind. But it's always good. It's always good to have the character that backs up, that whatever it is that you want to achieve.
Yes.
Imagine if we would attain our dreams without ever working hard at it. The mindset of one who achieves that dream without ever having worked hard at it will never respect nor even value that dream.
Exactly.
Everything that is given to you without any strive, not that we need to struggle for everything, but anything that is given to you without any strive in life, you do not appreciate it.
Exactly, you do not.
You do not. It's the same way, I'm thinking of the analogy of relationships. Nowadays, you just look at a girl, twitch your eye, and then she's yours. Finish. And that is why there's no value attached to the boy looking at the girl.
Yes.
It is easy for him just to tell her and slap around and do everything that he can do because there's nothing that is attached to it.
Yes.
That he can find valuable for me to have this woman in my life. And the same it is with anything that you just find that is just hand over to you without you ever putting in the effort or the work behind it.
Someone said easy come, easy go.
Easy
So
come,
if
easy
I didn't
go.
have to lose anything to get it, I won't mind letting it go just like that. Yes.
Yeah, things that happen in life. 0714259577. We're talking about progress in life. Have you sat at the table and wondered to yourself, what has been happening in my life? You have been in the same position, talking about the same things year in, year out. But there's nothing that is propelling you to become something greater.
With the same people.
With the same people. You are even, it's so worse when you noticed that you even know each and every move of someone. At this time they will be sitting there. At that time they will be doing this. At a certain time they'll be drinking tea from a green cup that they've always been drank. It's so routine in their life that they do not see anything wrong with it. And that is when you know that there's a problem that you need to cure that problem very quickly.
Yes.
Because time waits for no man. You'll find yourself at the age of 80 looking back, and it's only regret in your heart that you did not take the chance, you did not take the step to do something with your life while you had the chance.
It's all about taking risks. And
Yes.
we get too comfortable. I look at the way we dress as ladies. It's not necessarily for comfort, but it makes us look, attractive and all that.
Yeah.
So if we were all going to be comfortable with just comfort and not wanting anything to change or avoiding pain at all costs, then we will not go anywhere. Someone said if you want to do something, you have 5 seconds to act. From the moment you decide that this is what I want to do, you have 5 seconds to act. Because if you do not do that, your brain is programmed in a way that it always wants to protect you.
Yeah.
So if you see a lady walking past and you want to go after her, and you sit and you think about it, your mind will be like, no, man, what if she says no? What if she says this? So it's the same with your dream or anything else that you want to change about your life. There will always be that thing that says, but what if it doesn't work out? What if it fails? Yeah. And all that. So we need to get to a point where, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks back, Dr. Richie spoke about, I think he called it DDTA, that unless you are disgusted with where you are, with your daily routine, with your current personal life state or whatever, you will not do anything. So once you are disgusted and you decide, you know what, I've had enough of this place, then you have that desire to say, I want to do something different or I want to do something better. So there's really nothing comfortable about the comfort zone because most of us are scared of change. That's why we'd rather stick to what we know, and people would go to an extent of saying, stick with the devil you know. I don't know why you need to be with the devil in the first place. But they would say things like that,
Yeah.
stick with the devil, and it really doesn't take you anywhere.
It doesn't.
Yes.
It doesn't. Success does not roll in the wheels of inevitability, because it is simply put in the mind of each and every human being to succeed.
Yes.
You are predestined to succeed.
Yes.
No manufacturer starts a product with the intention of the product to fail.
No.
When we look at any example, we can look at a car. Let's say Mercedes-Benz, for argument's sake. When the designers of Mercedes-Benz sit there and they design this machine, the art of this thing, in their minds, they've already designed a product that will service the purpose of which it is going to service. And it is succeeding already.
Exactly.
Before they even put it in the production line, for them, it has succeeded already. And so it is with each and every human being. When God started the creation and the art of your life, he never started creating you first.
No.
The first thing that he did was to create purpose for you. He needed to find a place, a time, a year, a season for you to be born. And in that lifespan, you were created to affect change in whatever position that you're going to be born in.
Yes.
So he completed your life before he started it. So he knows that you are a success already.
Yes.
The only trouble that we have as human beings, and I say this because I was not too long ago at the Kruger National Park, and you see how instant animals adapt to their environment. For us, it takes a little bit of time. You still need to be tucked in, and you were taught to walk and all those things. Animals, they instantly walk, they run. You are born, you just go.
Yes.
You just go. So with us, it is not given into our palms or our forehands that you are born to become a doctor, you are born to become a this. You discover these things as you go on in your life.
Yes.
But the greater thing about it is that God gives you people in your life that will navigate you and push you towards those things. The one thing that we have, and I want us to talk a little bit about this, the one thing that you have that no one else can take away from you is choices.
Exactly.
You make your own choices in life. It doesn't matter how the environment looks. It doesn't matter what the people say to you. If I tell you that you have a bad a smell, you have a bad temper, whatever it is. It is your choice then to take my words and create it a negative or let it affect you. But somebody can look at it and say, you know what, maybe I just went for a jog. That's why I have the smell, and just go on and take a shower, and it's done. But the choices that we make with our lives determines then how the outcome of our lives become.
Yes. I like that. The fact that we have been given the power to choose.
Yes.
No one can make you feel anything without your consent or without you agreeing to do that.
Yeah.
And anything that anybody calls you or says to you, it's going to be very difficult for you to agree with that if you have not at some point in your life called yourself that. So going back to the environment, for example, when a child is born, they are born, the mind is clean, there's nothing there.
In psychology, they call it tabula rasa.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the parents then shape that child, or the surroundings then give something into or deposit something into the mind of the child. So if at a very early age, and I think most parents make that mistake to think, he's just a kid, he's just a child, he doesn't understand. There are certain words that you would speak to your child, they would not know how to repeat them, but they would hear them.
Yes.
5 or 10 years later, the child grows up and somebody says, you have a bad smell. And then because already it is inside the child, it's recorded, it was once recorded in the child's mind that you have a bad smell, and they were teased about it. And because you have a bad smell, go sit outside, don't come anywhere near the other people.
Yeah.
When they hear that, it speaks or it resonates with what's already inside them. And then the choice becomes difficult to say, my mom said this, and this person is now saying the same thing. It could be True. So we need to get to a point in life. If you are going to progress, you will need to be willing to unlearn the things that you have learned, because we grow up, you are taught certain ways of doing things, and it's not necessarily the right way.
Yeah.
But that's how you grew up.
Yeah.
And we even become proud of it to say, no, this is how we do it at home. This is how I grew up. But it's not necessarily the right way. And it's not helping you with anything. It's not taking you anywhere.
Sometimes the bad things that happen in our lives put us directly into the path to the best things that will ever happen to us.
Yes.
Again, we go to the same thing, the perception that you have about whatever is happening into your life. Mm-hmm. Oprah made a statement one day. She says, pain is the same. Pain is the same. It's how the individual perceives the pain that makes it different from the other person.
Yes.
So let me make this example. If, for instance, we have dogs and we love those puppies, we love them, and then it happens, your dog gets driven off by a car, and then it dies, and then tomorrow someone bumps my dog as well, and then it dies. We are both in the same state of pain because we loved this dog, and there was an attachment to this dog, those dogs that we loved. The way that you look at your pain and the way that I look at my pain is different, simply because the value that is attached to the dog and the relationship that we had is different from one to another. So it is with each and every one of us. Whatever it is that you exalt in your mind, and whatever it is that you give power to control your life in your mind, becomes then the dominator of your life. And many of us allows people, many of us allows material things even to control us, to a point where, even if your shoes is missing, you are the craziest person in the house. You just cause a whole World War III in that house. Because the value that we attach to things, we do not understand that it predetermines how the outcome of our lives would be as well. Whatever it is that you exalt in your mind and you give power to, it will rule you.
Exactly. Because sometimes we value things or possessions more than we value ourselves.
Yes.
Or we allow those things to define us. If my husband or my boyfriend or my fiance leaves me, then I'm lost because I don't know who I am without him. If I lose my job, then I feel so lost and without purpose, because I don't know who I am without saying I'm a doctor or I'm a lawyer or I'm this or I'm that. If I lose that golf or whatever fancy car I drive, then somehow I feel lost, because we've gotten to a point where I come to you, hi Elias, this is Dr. Dinzwalo or Mrs. So-and-so.
Yes.
But for the ladies, I want to know, who are you without this man? Because he obviously married somebody.
Yes.
Who were you then? Before you got the job, before you got all of those things. And it is a choice that you make. For example, you drive someone roughly on the road and you apologize, you forget about it. Only to find out that that person's entire day is ruined because of that one. I mean, people drive us wrong and rough all the time, but you don't let that determine how the rest of your day is going to be. So it is a choice that you make. People can hurt you, and they will hurt you.
Yes.
People will hurt you. People will mess you up. People will betray you, and they will do all those things. But one thing they can never take away from you is the power to choose.
This is one thing that I need to deal with before we say goodbye, because we only have 3 minutes. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? We only have 3 minutes left. Here's one thing that is also, out of many, that is also a stumbling block into progress. Whenever you fester bitterness in your heart, that thing will rob you of the joy and of the creativity that you can find in your life. a pastor made an analogy that someone who has such a lot of bitterness in his heart, someone who has been wronged for so many times, someone who has been given a lot of pain and they've not dealt with it.
Yes.
You know, they can blow up in an instant.
Yes.
You know, you just find a little piece of tissue lying around in the house and you are shouting at the children. You are wanting to cut everyone's throat in the house. But sometimes we do not understand the tissue is not the problem.
Yes.
It is something that is inside of you that you have not dealt with. And that culminates then to a bolt of a volcanic eruption. And sometimes those are things that will trap us not to pursue whatever it is that we want in life, because you have harbored such a lot of bitterness, such a lot of anger, such a lot of disappointment in your heart that you'd never ever want to do anything else. Someone went into business with you and, you know, the deal was not too sweet, and, you know, they robbed you of millions. And now you're going to sit at home and say, I'm not going to do business with anyone anymore because someone wronged me. You have to deal with that and progress in life. Someone, you were in a relationship and someone broke up with you and things didn't go well. Settle down. Exactly. Talk to yourself. Progress in life. All these things, like you said, people will hurt you. People will do you wrong. Life will knock you in your jaws. And, you know, you just have to stand up, fix those jaws, put makeup on, and just keep on moving. It's the way it is.
That's how it is. I like talking about forgiveness because it's said many times that it's not for the other person. It is actually for you.
Yes.
Because if there's any person in this world who can walk through that door right now and they change your mood, all of a sudden you become moody or angry, that person has power over you. And to them, it doesn't even affect them. They're just moving on with life. And I'm glad you mentioned God earlier because I was not sure if we should talk about God. But here's what I discovered about forgiveness or harboring unforgiveness and bitterness in your heart. Is the Bible says the devil is the accuser of the brethren. If I do you wrong now and I go to the God that I serve and I ask for forgiveness, he forgives me and he forgets what I've done.
All right.
Now you are sitting there. Every time you go to God in prayer, or you can't even go there, you think, Dinzwalo did this, Dinzwalo did this. You are now accusing me before God. Whose side are you on? So, like I said, people will wrong you, they will hurt you, they will do all those things. But you need to get to a point where you accept that, yes, this is what was done to me.
Yeah.
This is how I feel about it. Because most of the time we are focused on being strong.
All right.
No, I don't care. No, you couldn't destroy me. But you need to get to a point where you sit down and you deal with it. Forgiveness is basically saying, I'm willing to live with the consequences of your actions, but not in a bitter way. I will not be bitter about it.
Wow. We are out of time, but let me quickly read these messages before the daily wrap up. Minister comes in studio. Good evening. This is an hour of powerful messages. If possible, I would like to get the lady and the gentleman's numbers, please. I don't know if you are going to be, this one comes from Gavin, if you are going to be able to share your numbers on air. But nonetheless, let me continue here. Nice show with the inspirational TC Nkuna. Personally, she has continually motivated me, and our conversations are mostly about growing. Big ups to her. May take on the topic is that continuous learning and self-development are key points to growth. My take on the topic is that continuous learning and self-development are the key points to growth. Keep asking yourself, what is the most important thing I could do in my life? What endeavor activity would be connected to my creator? Regards, Sheila from Clayville, Olifontaine.
Oh, hi. I think that's my sister-in-law.
That's your sister-in-law?
Yes.
Hello.
Hi, Scotty.
Hello. What's her name?
Her name is Sheila, but
Hey.
I call her Sconi.
Sconi. Sconi. All right. Thank you so much for all your SMSs that we can't get through. 2 minutes before the hour or after the hour of 7 o'clock, we have to make way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This has been such a wonderful hour spending with you. Any words out there? Do you want to say hi to someone? Do you want to say hi to Sconi again?
Hi, Sconi. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been quite a humbling experience. I'm glad that I came and I've learned something new. So this is part of the learning and growing. And I just want to say hi to everyone, because if I were to mention names, hey, but special shout out to my dad. He's my champion. He's my number one fan and supporter. And to my 7 siblings and to my friends and everyone. Hi, Dr. Richie. Hey,
all right.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much, KofifiTV. Have yourself a wonderful evening. We shall join again Tuesday between 6 and 7 o'clock. This has been another edition of the TPS. Have yourself a beautiful evening. Adios.